Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. Guys, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, share the video, and all that good stuff. And I appreciate the support. You guys coming back and forth on my channel, it means a lot. I can see my viewers, my subscribers over the last couple of months have increased a lot. I'm gaining like over 200, 250 subscribers a month, which is a lot for me. So I really appreciate it. Obviously see that my channel is getting more traction, and it's because of you guys. I feel like the live streams have definitely helped me or help my channel grow. I think the live streams are getting a lot of traction. I think people like the concept of me having other people come on, and it just makes it more appealing. It makes it good viewing. I think it's quite surprising because I don't know how many of you actually watch the whole live stream. I doubt it. I'll be very surprised. You know, sometimes the live streams are 3 hours long. I'll be very surprised if you guys watch the whole 3 hours and there's an ambulance going by. I don't know if you guys can hear that in the camera. Probably can. But yeah, I would really love to know. Let me know how many of you actually watch the whole live stream. I don't think you do. I don't think you could do. There's no way you're going to take out 3 hours of your time to watch the whole live stream. I wouldn't like to think so, because I couldn't do that. So I'd really love to know if any of you do that. I'd be very surprised if you do, because I definitely couldn't do it. I couldn't spend 3 hours watching a live stream. But yeah, even if you watch 20-30 minutes, it's great, you know, or 20-30 minutes of what you want to watch is great. What's going on with all these ambulances and things? It's ruining my vid. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I think there's an ambulance outside. But yeah, let me know in the comment section of how long you actually watch the live streams and how long you stay on it for. But anyway, let's get straight into the video. And let's talk about this. Let's talk about what I wanted to talk about. So, guys, I've watched an interview with Paulie Malignaggi. I think it was the Boxing Voice interviewing Paulie Malignaggi, and Paulie Malignaggi made an outstanding claim, or he basically said that he actually thought Jermall Charlo would beat Canelo. Jermall Charlo was one of the guys that Paulie Malignaggi thought would beat Canelo. And I was like, what? Really? Paulie Malignaggi is a very knowledgeable guy. He has come across, people have criticized Paulie in the past as a Canelo. I don't really think so. I think Paulie just says it how it is, and he feels a certain way. He's not scared to say it. I like Paulie Malignaggi. I like his commentary. I like, you know, the analysis he gives on fights. I think it's brilliant. But I was startled with this one because he basically said that, you know, Jermall Charlo was a guy that he always thought that would beat Canelo, and he's not going to change his opinion right now. He also said that, you know, he felt Andrade would be one of those guys that would cause Canelo trouble and could beat Canelo, but he felt that Andrade is past his prime now. He's past his heyday, and I think that fight now favors Canelo a lot more because of the fact that, you know, Andrade is kind of slightly past his prime. But he said that Charlo has been one of those guys that I always fancied to beat Canelo, and I'm going to stick by that. I'm going to stick to Charlo beating Canelo. I was like, wow. I was like, what? You know, Charlo beating Canelo. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. You know, this is a guy I know Styles makes fights at the top level. And Paulie Malignaggi didn't actually give a breakdown. Normally he gives very analytical, very great, well-explained breakdowns of how he sees a fight. And I'm pretty sure Paulie Malignaggi's got his own YouTube channel now, Paulie TV. So I'm pretty sure if this fight does get over the line, I'm pretty sure Paulie Malignaggi will be giving a more detailed breakdown of why he thinks Charlo wins the fight and how he sees it, which I'm going to be looking forward to, because I always love listening to Paulie. I always think he gives very, very good, detailed, great analysis of a fight. So yeah, I'm looking forward to how he thinks Charlo wins that fight. But Charlo is a guy who, in my opinion, struggled against Matt Korobov, and Korobov has a completely different style to Canelo. But I thought Korobov gave him all sorts of trouble, and many felt Korobov even beat Charlo. Then Charlo struggled with Montiel, a guy who Munguia stopped. You know, Charlo, I just don't see what, I know he had a good performance against Derevyanchenko, but Derevyanchenko is not Canelo. He's just not Canelo. So I don't know what Paulie would be basing that off, and that's why I said I want to hear his detailed and analytical breakdown of this fight, because I don't see how you could pick Charlo to beat Canelo. I just don't think Charlo has the attributes to beat. From what I've seen so far in his career, he's got a good jab, but a jab alone isn't going to beat Canelo, you know. I'll be brutally honest with you. I've watched the Montiel fight again, and Charlo, I don't see him beating Canelo. Obviously, everyone has their own opinion why they pick somebody, and I said this, that the thing is with Canelo fights, that although it'd be a big event and it's a big fight, Canelo Charlo, it's from a competitive standpoint, some people were saying it's a 50-50 fight. It's not a 50-50 fight. You know, a lot of the Americans, you know, over there think that he's been fighting these Euro bombs, which they like to call us here in the UK Euro bombs. But I can tell you right now, Charlo's no more difficult fight for Canelo than the Caleb Plant or the Billy Joe or Callum Smith. I don't see it being any more difficult, to be brutally honest with you. But in their minds, the American fans' mind, they think that Charlo is a big problem, and they're saying it's a 50-50 fight. This is no 50-50 fight. Canelo is a substantial favorite going in against Charlo. A substantial favorite. Like, Charlo is not a 50-50 fight with Canelo. And that's what I mean, where a lot of these fights with Canelo, they're not 50-50 fights. Canelo's going into those fights as a massive favorite. So he doesn't really get much credit by beating these guys because he's such a big, overwhelming favorite. Hence why I would prefer for him to fight someone like Beterbiev, who's obviously going to be seen as a 50-50 fight because Beterbiev is so dangerous, so big and so strong. Whereas Canelo fighting Charlo, he doesn't really gain much credit because a lot of people expect him to beat Charlo. They don't think Charlo's all that great. So I find that dynamic a little bit. I think it's a bit harsh on Canelo, the fact that he's so great and he's beating these guys quite comfortably, and he's going into the fight so it's such a substantial favorite. He has to look good all the time and beat these guys emphatically. Otherwise, people will say, "Oh, he got exposed," and this, that, and the other. But yeah, Charlo was one of those names that the American fans thought he was ducking. And now it is being touted, and it's more than a rumor now. It's more than just a rumor. It's a strong possibility that Canelo will fight Charlo next. And let's find out. Let's see how good Charlo is. You know, Charlos have been hyped up by their fans. They think that, you know, a lot of them think they're great. And I like the Charlos. I think both Charlos, especially Jermall. I think Jermall has proven himself at 154. You know, he's almost undisputed. He looks like he's going to fight Brian Castano again. And that's a great fight. If he becomes undisputed, I'd love for him to move up to 160. But Jermall, it'll be good for one of them to get a real big super fight. And let's see how Jermall Charlo does. Now, Jermall Charlo, if I'm not mistaken, was saying when he was there at the Caleb Plant Canelo fight that Canelo looks tired. I'll beat him. I know I can beat him. I know I can beat Canelo. This is what Jermall Charlo was saying. So let's see how good Jermall Charlo is. Let's see if the American fans who were saying, if the American fans that were saying that Canelo was ducking Charlo and he's ducking these American fighters, let's see if they're right. Let's see if Canelo was ducking them guys and those guys are good, because I don't think so. I think Canelo, you guys know my opinion. I think Canelo will beat Jermall Charlo quite comfortably. But the American fans, a lot of them, or some of them, or certain set of fans seem to think, certain set of American fans seem to think that Canelo's been ducking Jermall Charlo, and there's a reason he's been ducking Jermall Charlo, because he views them as a threat. He views them as a dangerous fight. He views them as a fight that he may lose, which I find quite absurd. Quite absurd, because I don't really think Jermall Charlo is a huge threat to Canelo. But according to Paulie Malignaggi, you know, he thinks that Jermall Charlo will beat Canelo, which I was like, wow. I was left kind of gobsmacked, because watching Jermall Charlo's recent fights and watching Jermall Charlo throughout his career, I just don't see how he beats this version of Canelo. I don't see it. And I don't know whether Paulie had those opinions like a couple years ago, and he's kind of sticking to his opinion that he had a couple of years ago. But after seeing the way Canelo's just excelled in the coming years and Charlo not doing that great, I don't know whether he's just sticking to it and he's not as confident with that prediction as he was a couple of years ago. That might be the case, but because it sounded like he said, I said Jermall Charlo was one of the guys that would beat Canelo, and I'm going to stick with that prediction. But I just don't see, coming off his recent form and the way Canelo's been looking and the level, and remember the experience of Canelo. See, a lot of people have to take that into consideration. I know that people say styles make fights, but you got to realize experience plays a big part. Look, Canelo's been there, done it. He knows. He's been in super fights before. He knows how to handle the pressure. He's fought elite fighters before. He's fought a lot of elite fighters. He's fought a lot of top guys. Charlo hasn't. What's Charlo's biggest win? Derevyanchenko? Is it Austin Trout? What's his biggest win? What's Jermall Charlo's biggest win? And this is the thing. Canelo fought Austin Trout. He beat Austin Trout. Canelo fought Lara. Canelo fought Mayweather. Canelo fought Khan. Canelo fought Jacobs. Canelo fought Golovkin. Canelo fought Kovalev. Canelo fought, Billy Joe, Caleb Plant, Callum Smith. He's fought a load of guys. Canelo has a tremendous amount of experience. A tremendous amount of experience, which Charlo doesn't have, unfortunately. Guys, the fire alarm's gone off, so I'm going to have to cut this video short. But anyway, guys, leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.